Good morning, everyone. I don't know if that's a little better. I'm Kristen Olsen, and I'm one of the attorneys here at HELPS. No relation to Eric, but I do work with him, and I am going to assume that you can hear me unless I hear otherwise. But Eric got away this morning without his laptop, and so he called me and asked if I would be able to fill in for him this morning. Those are big shoes, but I'll do my best today. And hi, Kathy. Thank you for commenting there. And I'm sure everyone can hear, otherwise you would have told me so. So I thought what I would do is first go through some of what Eric had in mind to talk to you about today, and after that we could talk about whatever you'd like. But so I'll just start out with HELPS is a national law firm representing seniors and disabled people who are on federally protected income like Social Security, VA benefits, those kinds of things, and have unsecured debt that they cannot afford to pay. And so we have a website, which you can see on the screen there, and you can check that out. You can check out the YouTube Live like you're doing now, and give us a call because we'd be happy to speak with you about any issues that you might have related to debt that you can't afford to pay if you're on federally protected income of some sort. So Eric had something here that he wanted me to start with, so let's do that. These are comments from people that have either called in recently or that have left a message and are hoping for a call back, which probably has already happened. But so this one says, my mom has worked hard her whole life, cared for her kids alone. She took in anyone that needed help, etc. And now at 87, she's still working, mainly just to keep up with things like food and credit cards. And this daughter just found out that the mom's finances were a mess, as she says, but she was too proud to say anything. So her comments are and questions, she doesn't make too much money with work, and Social Security is not enough to pay her low-cost rent, utilities, supplemental health, etc., etc. She has 4 credit cards, and all told, $20,000. And since 2020, she's been paying about 30% interest on those cards. And she's behind on one of them now, and the minimum payment is $900. She makes about $2,000 a month between her Social Security and her wages. And she's not filed taxes since 2020. So for now, she says bankruptcy is not an option. Well, so oftentimes people that call us really don't need to file bankruptcy. There's very few situations where people that call in can't be helped by us and need to file bankruptcy. But anyway, of course, this lady or her daughter, if her daughter has her power of attorney, or if they call together, we could help her, of course. As most of you that have been clients for some time or have been listening to YouTube Live for some time, you understand that her Social Security benefits are automatically protected from garnishment in the bank account where they are directly deposited. And that protection goes up to 2 times the amount of her monthly Social Security deposit. So if her wages are $1,000 a month and her Social Security is $1,000 a month, $2,000 is always automatically protected in her account at all times, 2 times the amount of her federal benefit. So it wouldn't matter that she had wages that went into that account. If she never had more than twice her Social Security of $2,000, that would be automatically protected in her account. And I understand that the mother feels really, really badly about all this, and she wants to pay them, but like she said, interest on 2 cards in the last year has been almost $4,000. And so it's just not really possible. It's not necessary. So if she would just, she says any advice would be so helpful. So she just needs to give us a call and we can go through what we do is we go through a little questionnaire. And the reason for those questions is to determine what specifically the situation is and how we can best talk to you about your protections. So it takes about, if we go right through, it would be maybe 10 minutes worth of questions, but we oftentimes talk about things in between. And then Eric has written a lot of articles that are on the kinds of topics that our clients find really helpful. So I generally send a few of those in your email if the person wants to receive emails, because those are really helpful and it just really explains it in detail. So even though I may talk about it with them, I like to supplement that with sending an article, because oftentimes it's really helpful for someone to have something to read through. So then another question we have from someone says, apparently they co-signed for their granddaughter to get a car, and she only made about 5 or 6 payments. That's why my background is in filing bankruptcies for consumers. So I filed a lot of Chapter 7s and 13s over the years. And my advice to those people, to my clients, was always, if you can help someone out and you want to, great, but don't obligate yourself on it. So don't co-sign for someone. But it happens, and understandably with a granddaughter, she wanted to help out, and so she co-signed, and now the granddaughter has defaulted. So this lady called the bank to pick up the car, and when they finally picked it up, then they sold it. That's what they do. They sell it, and then after it has been sold, they send you a letter of deficiency. So that letter of deficiency would have gone out to the granddaughter as well as the grandmother that's contacting us. And so the letter just basically says, you owed us X number of dollars and we sold it for Y, and you now owe us Z, whatever that number is. But once that happens, it's like any other unsecured debt. It's no real difference from that and a credit card debt that you might owe. So we can send a cease and desist letter to that bank in this case, and they would have to stop contacting her. Now, because we don't know enough about her situation, that's why I'd be going through a little questionnaire just to find out if there's anything that's vulnerable, and making sure that she just has the one bank checking account or one credit union checking account where her income, her Social Security is directly deposited. I'm assuming she's on Social Security benefits, and she may have other money like we've spoken about in that other case. So that would all be protected up to 2 times the amount of her unsecured, 2 times the amount of her federal benefits, So yeah, we could absolutely help her. And let's see, there was one here about an SBA loan. Yeah, this person says, I had an SBA loan from Hurricane Harvey, and payments were paused during the pandemic, and my account disappeared online. I called and they couldn't find it. Next thing I know, I've got a letter from the Treasury saying they are garnishing my Social Security check for 1/4 its value. They told me I wasn't going to live long enough, what a thing to say, to pay it off. So this was their only payment other than payment in full that they would accept. So it looks like Eric may have responded to that, and he referred to something as other agency debt, which a SBA loan would be. So he says here, this is called an other agency debt, and the SBA can offset 15% of your Social Security and not 25%. So I'm not quite sure why he was saying 1/4 of its value, but 15% is what the Social Security Administration can take right now. That may be changing, but it doesn't happen all that often, and it was pretty much stayed during COVID but maybe resuming. You can bankrupt on the debt. So that's always a possibility. And we talked about very rarely does someone need to file a bankruptcy. This might be a case. We can see what else is going on and how much this person owes, but they could give us a call and we could certainly talk to them about that. And let's see. This person says, I just got served for my credit card today for court to get a judgment on me. So they likely sued this person, a credit card or a collector for the credit card company, sued this person, and the person did not respond, as generally our clients do not. And now it has been set for a judgment hearing, I guess, which they don't have to go to that either. Because if you owe the money and the creditor wants to pursue it, then they can get a judgment against you. And they say that my health is deteriorating due to some medical issues and chronic pain. But yeah, and they say, I wish we would have called you sooner. But it doesn't matter. Whenever you call, we can help. So likely someone has called this person back by now, but if not, and you're listening, please do give us a call back, and we'd be glad to talk to you about that, because as you know, that's what we do here. If one of our clients is sued, what we do is we send a letter to the other attorney letting him know that you're a client and that your income is protected, and even if they were to go forward and get a judgment against you, it's going to be uncollectible. Then the attorney would be obligated to speak to their client and let them know that situation. And sometimes they will agree to dismiss the case. So that's always good news for our clients. It doesn't happen often enough, so I do have to say that. But it does happen, and then the case is dismissed and almost never is reinstated again. It just would be a situation where if you won the lottery and they found out about it, they'd want to be able to go back and initiate the suit again or pick up where they left off. So that just doesn't happen. So yeah, once it's dismissed, it's pretty much stays dismissed. So I'll look and see if we have some questions, and then there's some other things I was going to talk about. So yeah, in Indiana, you're getting ready for stormy weather here. Well, you know, we had beautiful weather here where I am for several weeks, and sunny and in the 70s, which is pretty ideal. And now it's cooled off and kind of rainy and cloudy and in the 60s. So that's spring, I guess. And Farmhouse 168. Oh, thanks for saying that. I'm sure that it was a fruitful talk, let's just say. So, but if you have more questions, you know how to get a hold of us. The number here is right on the screen, 855-435-7787. You can call us anytime. Yeah, spam calls. You know, and there's so many scams out there. There are just so many scams, and you just have to be so aware and not give information. They may seem like they're legitimate, but if you don't know who they are and they're asking for any information from you, or they talk about debit cards, they either want you to send one or they're going to send you one. It's a scam. It is a scam. And there's so many scams. The romance scam, that's a bad one. But sometimes seniors have fallen for that. And it never comes to a good end, it seems. So as soon as you think you might be scammed, you know, just give us a call. We'll talk you through it. Let's see here. I haven't bought anything from Amazon for about 20 years. Has Amazon even been around for 20 years? perhaps it has. Let's see. Yeah, someone else wonders about that too. Where's Eric? Eric left his laptop at home, so he was unable to do YouTube today. So the camera is aimed too high. All right, so let me see if I can do something about that. Don't know. Let's see if that helps. I think that's better. I should have read these messages sooner, but thank you, Jimmy Blue. Let's see. If I leave a voicemail, how soon would someone call me back? I'm still deciding what to do in my situation. Sandra McMillan. Well, Sandra, I cannot say. If you leave it in the middle of the night, we get lots of calls. So if you don't hear from us within a reasonable length of time, which might be just depending on your situation, if it's an urgent situation, just call us back. And don't leave a voicemail, but talk to a person and talk to a receptionist. And maybe it means staying on hold for a while or asking for a specific person and asking for the receptionist to email that particular person, whomever it is that you'd like to speak with. And generally, then you're going to get a call back more quickly than if you just leave a message. But we try to get back with people as soon as we can. We really do. I got in early this morning, just a little bit early, and called this fellow that had left information on the website. And so we try to get to those right away. Let's see. But Sandra, to get back to your question, call today. Just give us another call. If you left a voice message and you haven't heard, give us a call. Be persistent, and someone will certainly be glad to talk to you. We are, of course, really busy, but we're never too busy to speak with you. Okay. Okay, Linda from Ontario is saying, getting threatening phone calls from Kingston or wherever, claiming if I don't call back and pay my income taxes, there will be a warrant for my arrest. Well, the IRS is not going to call you and leave you such a message about your income taxes, and a state collector isn't going to do that either. So it could very well be a scam. Sounds like it is to me. And we all get phone calls or text messages saying different things. I've had one recently, and they're telling me if I don't pay a toll, I'm going to be in big trouble. Well, I haven't been any place driving where there would be a toll. So it's clearly a scam, and I just delete those things. And they want your personal information. Oh, well, because you're asking about this, I'm quite certain that you know not to give that, and you know that it's a scam. So, yeah. And blocking these sometimes can work, but sometimes they call or text from many different numbers. So my advice is, if someone's calling you and you don't know who it is, don't respond. Just let it go to your voicemail, and if it's someone that you really want to speak with, you can call them back. But if it's a debt collector or a scam artist, just ignore it and delete it. My phone is ringing. Oh, that happened before. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that. So sorry. Those tolls are the worst. Yeah, it's crazy. And Revenue Canada doesn't accept credit card payments. Okay. All right, so let me kind of go through some other things. And some of these, I'm just going to read a few of them at a time because some of them are so similar. And we all know that we can help them. This one, I'm disabled and receive Social Security disability. I've managed to survive with credit, but I'm just drowning and I need some help to figure this out. I'm always stressed. Give us a call. I'm struggling and saw your TV commercial. Likely it was a YouTube. Right at a time I needed to see it. Oh, okay, great. I bet you've called in and you're probably a client, or at least we were able to talk to you about your situation and how it's not nearly so dire as you may think. Here's another one. I'm 69. I'm defaulting on credit cards as of this month after just a series of unfortunate events here. And I was already behind, and I'm currently having to pay $8,000 a year on $31,000 of Social Security income, and that's household income. So it's probably the lady that's calling and her spouse. My personal income is also $8,000 from Social Security. So she gets $8,000 from Social Security. So the spouse maybe gets a little under $2,000 a month. So they're surviving on less than $3,000 a month in Social Security. So I need to pay my property taxes with the money I'm paying on the credit cards, and I'm overwhelmed. Can you help me? Of course we can. Yes, property taxes have to be paid if you want to keep the property, and if you get too far behind, the county can come after you. So you want to make sure you pay your property taxes. If you can pay them on time, that's ideal. And certainly in our client situations, it's almost always, maybe without exception, they should pay their property taxes before they pay their credit card debt. Here's another one. Please send me the information. I'm 71 years old and lost my job. I'm disabled due to an accident in my home. Yeah, once again, we can send her information. We generally send out several things, including who we can help and how this all works, just kind of general information about helps. And if they say anything specifically, then we would send an article that would address that as well. Because, like I say, Eric has written a lot of articles. And also Kaisa. She's updated many of the articles this year. And they are just extremely helpful for people. Just gives lots of information. And, if you have the information, then you're not going to be worrying about it. And but always call us. Okay, so I'm a 68-year-old senior and need serious help with my debt. My retirement is the only income I have. Many medical issues, and had to give up his or her job. Every day now I'm just scared all the time. I've never been in a situation like this in my life, and I have no idea what to do. Can you please help me? Of course we can. Yes. Give us a call. If you contacted us and left an email address, we would be sending you those email articles even before we call, likely. Here's another one that's disabled, proof for disability, and has credit card debt. Yes, we can help. There's another one. I need help with credit card debt. I got a charge off and went to a collector. They said they're filing a lawsuit. It says I can make a payment or discuss options. I tried to negotiate with them and get a hardship, but they wouldn't agree to that. Because I didn't make enough money. So just call us We'll go through your situation. 99% of the people that call in, we're able to help. I'm in deep debt to credit cards and don't see a way out. Well, I believe that most all you people know there is a way out. There is a way out. Let's see. Oh, and Linda, you were warning others. That's very good. Thank you. Does helps send a letter? This is Rockabilly. Does helps send a letter if you get a court summons? Oh, I am a member. Yes, of course we do. If you are a member of helps and you let us know that someone has served you with a summons, then give us a call. And if need be, we can take the information about the other attorney and the lawsuit over the phone if you don't have a convenient way to get it to us. But I do talk to people on a regular basis that have no idea that they can take a picture of any of these documents that they want to send us. They can just take a picture, and we have a separate text number, and they can text those pictures to us. And that makes it so much easier for people that don't have a scanner or just don't have an ability to email it, or it's inconvenient or expensive to fax it. And the mail is so slow these days, so it's really convenient for people to text pictures to us. And if you don't know how to do that, you just call us and we'll walk you through that. That way we'll have the documents in front of us, which we always appreciate, and we very rarely need all of them. It's just the first few pages. That's going to give us the information we need. And then we would send out a letter to the attorney that sued you and let them know, once again, that your income is protected, and even if they go forward with a judgment against you, it's going to be uncollectible. So every time I get a lawsuit from a client, I give them a call. Well, first I look to see if they've already spoken with someone, and if they have not, I give you a call and we talk about your bank account and confirm you just have the one bank checking account where your income is directly deposited, and we talk about the limits on that, and we talk about anything else that might be of concern to you. And then I send out that letter to the other attorney, and sometimes, like I said, not often enough, but sometimes they'll dismiss the case based on that information. It would be up to their client, of course, and if they don't, then there would be a judgment entered. But generally for our clients, a judgment is really of little significance because your income is protected, and we talk about that. So if you ever have questions, once again, when you're a client, you can call us anytime you have a question. Let's see. Just perfect, Jones. I have heard a little bit about that. That would be really unfortunate. And I can't really see that that's going to remain. If you'd find so many seniors out on the streets. So there would be such an uproar. So if that happens, then I think it will change. Let's see. They only call when you have set an appointment for them. I think that was relating to something else. Okay, so let's see. There are other things here. I have been approved and just received my first Social Security payment. I've been paying the mortgage that is in my late wife's name. She passed in 2021, and the mortgage company, Truist, that's difficult, Truist, was unwilling to transfer the mortgage to me without a new mortgage application, even though I co-signed for her at the time, and the interest rate was radically different in 2021 from what it was when she got the original mortgage in 2002. I paid off my credit card in 2000 and my car loan in 2013. I've been able to operate without the need of credit cards for all this time, thanks to having been able to be relatively well paid, I thought. I recently found out that I have apparently been financially ignorant. Oh, don't be too hard on yourself. Yeah, they've been, yeah. Oh dear. Well, once again, give us a call. Give us a call. We can talk about that. And generally speaking, if our clients have things that have to be paid, like a mortgage or property taxes, or if you need or want to keep a car, something like that has to be paid, if we can take over that unsecured debt and you don't have to pay it, then you're going to be in a better position to pay what you need to pay. Now, sometimes there are situations where you simply can't afford it. Maybe it was a husband and wife that together you were buying property and now your income just won't support it. And sometimes there are hard decisions that need to be made, like selling a piece of property, selling your home. That generally doesn't happen, but sometimes it's the best thing. And we can talk all about it, and you have options. Let's see. I'm disabled and receive Social Security disability. I've managed to survive with credit, but I'm just drowning, and I need some help to figure this out. I'm always stressed. I'm struggling and saw your TV commercial. Oh, did we talk about that? Let's see. Considering doing a bankruptcy, for my husband and myself, we have Social Security income only, looking for other solutions other than bankruptcy. It's, once again, very rare for people that qualify for helps are on Social Security income and have unsecured debt they can't afford to pay, and even have some secured debt that they are paying or they want to pay, or maybe they want to surrender a vehicle or something. It is very rare that they need to file a bankruptcy. We're almost always a better solution for that. You helped me in 2020 and 2021. I need assistance now and need to know how to get started. Please let me know as soon as time permits. Thank you kindly. Absolutely. Hopefully we have gotten back to this person, this client. Because if we helped you in 20 and 21, you could easily still be a client. Most of our clients remain clients for an indefinite period of time. And so if she was a client in 20 and 21, she certainly could still be a client, and we'd be able to help her. If she canceled for any reason, we could just pick up where she left off, and yeah, so no problem. No problem. I hope someone has called you back, but if not, you call us. And let's see here. Could really use some information / help. If you would all be so kind, I would gladly become a helps client if we can engage. Likely we have. Let's see here. I'm hoping you can help me. I was served with court papers today and am unfamiliar with all the legal terms. I'm 71 years old and I'm a widow and live on Social Security and my late husband's teacher state retirement. Thanks in advance for your help. Yeah, understandable that you're not unfamiliar, as you said, with these legal terms. Unless you've been sued, And even if you have been, it's a whole different world. And lots of times seniors are not comfortable and they don't understand and they're scared. And we can answer those questions even if you're not a client. We don't want you to be worrying. But if you're a client, you can call us anytime and we'll assure you. And her income is protected. Her late husband's teacher's retirement is a protected income, not automatic like her Social Security, but once again, if her Social Security payment is directly deposited into her bank account, and her late husband's teacher's state retirement is also directly deposited into that account, or even if it's not, if she gets a paper check and puts it in the same account with her Social Security, that's the important thing, that you just have the one bank checking account where your Social Security is directly deposited, and then any other funds you have are put into that account, and then it's always going to be automatically protected up to 2 times the amount of your monthly Social Security benefit. I'm not sure what Kathy's saying about follow-up appointments. Or maybe you're talking about your doctor's appointments. So Kathy, we're sorry you're not going to be with us on Monday, but I know Eric will be back, and he'll be back all next week. So you can just go ahead and tune in whenever you're available. How do you get a pension protected? Farmhouse 168. Okay, so if it is a federal pension, like you worked for the post office or railroad retirement or something that's a federal pension, that's going to be protected automatically, just like Social Security or veterans benefits. So if it's one of those pensions, then it's going to be automatically protected from garnishment in the account where it's directly deposited up to 2 times the amount of the pension. If it's not a federal pension, so if it's a state pension or a city or county pension or a private pension, any of those, anything other than a federal pension, it is protected because a pension is going to be protected. It just doesn't get the automatic protection. That's why you put it in the same account. If you have federal benefits, you put it in the same account with your federal benefits, and then it will be protected up to 2 times the amount of the federal benefits. So let's say your Social Security is $1,000 a month and your state or private pension is $500 a month. Your account would if your Social Security is directly deposited into the one checking account, that account is always going to be automatically protected up to $2,000. So even if your pension goes in there and it's $500, even if that happened at the same time as your Social Security benefit, you'd have $1,500 in there. It would always be automatically protected up to $2,000 in our example. So, and most of our clients use their money as they receive it. So even if your pension was more than your Social Security or other federal benefit, then it could still be protected as long as you take money out or use it on a regular basis, so that you never have more than 2 times your federal benefit in there. I hope that makes sense. If not, then give us a call back. It's a pension from, I think you're saying ERISA, from GE Corporation. Yes, and that's a non-federal pension, but it would be protected. If by some chance you had more than 2 times your federal benefit in your account, so that anything over and above that was held up. Anything over and above 2 times your federal benefit was held up, and it was from this ERISA pension from GE Corporation. Then, if that was the case, you would have to file what's called either a claim of exemption or a challenge to the garnishment, and ultimately that would be released. So if you were a client, you'd be calling us, and we would be talking to you about it. And if you didn't have the form, we could email you the form. And you'd fill that out and file it in, and you have to send out copies, but we talk to you about that, and you do what needs to be done, and it would be released. So you might have to go to a hearing, but the judge would release it. what we usually do is we try to call or write to, and if we write, we fax or email to the other attorney that held up the money, the attorney for the plaintiff that has the judgment against you that held up the money. We write to them and ask them to voluntarily release it. We provide copies of bank statements the 3 months prior, and we can show on there where the money was deposited from a protected source and provide them with information about your pension. And sometimes, half the time anyway, they would release it without you having to go to a hearing. So how about unemployment? That's federal also. Unemployment is protected. So, but once again, everything needs to go into the same account. That's where you get the most protection. Eric took good, Kat, hi Kristen, Eric took good care of my case, and you and your staff are excellent. I'm glad that I registered. Have a good day. Well, thank you very much, Kat. We're glad to have you. I have no doubt that Eric took very good care of you, and we all will. We'll continue to do that. Farmhouse, yes, that's clear. Thank you. Yes, let's see if we have anything else here. A lot of it seems to be, and this is kind of the case, I mean, every case may have its own little nuance here or there that we want to talk about. Usually it's the same sort of things, and so often it's the bank account protections. So I always like to go over that with people and provide them with the information. Here's a lady that says, well, I don't know if it's a lady, it's a person that's writing in. I'm hoping you can help me. I was served court papers today and I'm unfamiliar with all the legal terms. Yes, that's the one. And so yes, call us and we'll go through that. My mother's 81 years old and still works. She can make the payments on her past loans, but cannot continue to work. And she wants me to find a bankruptcy attorney for her. I came across your website and watched the video on YouTube. She draws Social Security also. My parents have a reverse mortgage on their home. I'm not sure if my mom's name is on the mortgage, but her concern is that she will lose the house. She needs help. Well, a reverse mortgage, you don't have to pay a mortgage payment. If you had a mortgage on your home and you qualify for a reverse mortgage, and there's certain qualifications, most of which are met by the age qualification, and also the amount of equity that you have to have in your home. Those are kind of the big ones. Whether it's a mobile home or a townhome or a condo, you know, there's some variances. But she's already got the reverse mortgage, so likely they're both on the reverse. And sometimes with a reverse mortgage, you're required to make certain payments, like you're required to pay property taxes. Sometimes money is set aside with the reverse mortgage company to pay property taxes for a period of years, and if that's the case, then you're not obligated to pay those. They are. You have to maintain insurance on the property. Once again, sometimes it will be set up so that the reverse mortgage company has funds available for that. And the other thing is, oftentimes you're required to keep the property in good repair. So those are usually the requirements. And so her concern is she's going to lose the house. Very unlikely. She's almost always going to be on the reverse with her husband, assuming they were married at the time and on the mortgage, and so then they got a reverse and they're both on there. Yeah, then she wouldn't lose the home. But call us and we can talk about that, because very unlikely she'd have to file a bankruptcy. Very, very unlikely. So so let's see. I'm in need of help. I've been served by the courts because of credit cards that I cannot afford to continue to pay. I get Social Security and it's not enough to take care of my needs and pay credit cards. Well, you don't have to pay your credit cards. Give us a call and we can talk about that. So we're getting a lot of those same questions, and that kind of mimics what I hear on a regular basis. So I'm glad that these people are finding out about helps and learning what we can do. So if you or someone else has questions about what we do here, I'm glad that you're pardon me, tuning in. And if you could let others know if they have a need that they could tune in, or they could give us a call, and we'd be happy to talk to them. Excuse me. What can I do to have insurance? I did blood work and my insurance never pay my blood work and they send me to collections. What can I do? Well, if it wasn't covered by insurance and it's in collections and you're a client, you give that to us and we'll send them a cease and desist letter. David Lindsay. Thank you, David. It's always nice to hear, and we're happy. So I'm just going to say that we've probably covered most of the things that Eric wanted us to talk about, and I hope that you all have a great rest of your day. And as you know, Eric's doesn't do YouTube Live on Friday, at least not right now. He might change in the future. But I hope you have a great weekend, and I know Eric will be back on Monday and all next week. So I wish you all the best, and if there's any questions left out there, you just give us a call and we'll try to answer them. Thank you so much, and have just a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.